Then they said, we are not able to complete the portion, and so you go quiet. I said, I mean, you said the first day all questions are welcome. Oh, bola tha, you can ask any question. So then I wrote down all of them. I said, I'll write it down and ask you towards the end. So Samadhan is called the Q and Kaise for everything, the how and why for every question. Uh, to not only be able to answer it, but to also be able to, have the answer while living. These are two different things. One is to be able to know the logical answer to the why and how of everything, but to be able to kind of own the answer when you live um, is. So this is another instance of the six perspectives of Drishtis, and the Drishtis are actually very beautiful in the sense that one is able to understand all of humanity based on these six Drishtis. Just between the Drishtis and the perspectives and the activity of Chitran, and we already understand analysis. We know that some people analyze faster than the others. We typically perceive them as being more intelligent, बहुत तेज है बोलते हैं. Then we also know that some people are able to grasp concepts very quickly uh, in different areas. So somebody may be very good at math, somebody is very good at intuitively understanding other people's feelings. There are people who are able to envision and project what is not very evident today for the rest of humanity. I mean, everybody else is just consuming, and there are people who are able to project what's going to happen in the world 40, 50 years from now. Um, even businessmen who are like big visionaries are able to envision an entirely new way of transacting. Um, all can be understood using the activities that we've covered so far. And the direction in which somebody deploys their capabilities is understood using the six dishes. So we have an example there up on the board, and really just to kind of give another glimpse of the way or another example via which we can um, ascertain the drishtis. So somebody comes here and sees this piece of land, and there's one person who says this land looks very beautiful. This is the priya drishti. Another guy says, I think I'll come here and do my yogasana every morning. That is a fifth drishti. Same land. All right, different motives, different decisions. Third guy may think, how can I get into a sale purchase agreement with this guy? Let me buy it from this guy for, I don't know, 5 lakh, and I think he's going to appreciate it into 10 lakh. A fourth person may see the same land and think of some loved one that would benefit by staying there. Not a profit motive, to do with relationships, to do with the justice of the Nyaya Drishti. A fifth one may feel that it is, I will build a food forest here and donate it back to the community. This is closer to the Dharma Drishti. Okay, remember we are at the introductory stage, so we're going to take some introductory examples. If you proceed with the study, then what is called as Nyaya Dharma and Shastra will get slowly tighter and tighter. But now, really, to be able to distinguish it from the other drishtis, so you look at the same piece of land and you say, "I'll build a food forest." All right, and the sixth one may be wondering what the purpose of the land is and what the earth is and why it spins. Satya Drishti. So what really is Nyaya, Dharma and Satya or justice? So we had written that, we didn't write it? Okay, no, we did write it, but I'll tell you what it is to do with. So I will just jot it down here. When I heard these for the first time, I was pretty excited. And this is new. Because we often struggle to understand not just ourselves, but the people around us, and also people we don't know but who behave in certain ways that we don't understand and we don't approve of. And that is one of our pain points. Not just the people that we live with and that we may have an issue with, but also others out there who behave in ways that we feel are inappropriate or sometimes just, downright cruel. And the Drishtis really help us understand why they are the way they are. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change them. It helps us understand them better. And if and when, I think the if will be yes, but whenever this content makes its way into human education on a wide scale across the planet, the hope is that via this, people with um, an extremely very narrow outlook like a Priya Drishti or very cruel, etc., can or will be reformed and improve and change. Okay, so we'll quickly write this down here. So we have the like Drishti, Priya Drishti. What is good for my senses or according to my preference? Hit Drishti, health Drishti. What is good for the body's health? Okay, profit or labh Drishti. Give less and take more, or any position that is advantageous to me. Example, buy one get one free. I don't need the first one, but if somebody is willing to give one free, I'll buy the first one so I can get one more free. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. You're walking by the side and there's a nice brand and they're saying buy one get one free. मैं ले लूंगा. Buy one suitcase get two free. Get three free. That I'm definitely going to buy. Maybe I'll just go and distribute it to my friends. It's not that it was my need. है ना, जिसको लालच बोलते हैं. Basically, this is where our tendency to maximize profit comes from. If this is on overdrive, we are going to try and maximize money and profit. And we'll see that people who try and do that often do it at the cost of their health. And many times living lives that they really don't like because they don't have time to eat. A lot of people who earn a lot of money don't have time to enjoy it because they can't take holidays. They're working from morning to night. They can't take care of their health. They can't get up and go and walk because in the morning they're sitting and looking at the stock market or worrying over their accounts. Okay? And you think this can happen to a poor person also or only to a rich person? Poor person also. Can it happen to an organic farmer? Yeah. Organic farmer can also be lalchi, labh drishti. Okay. I mean, I have an organic farm. This is my farm. This is your farm. I'll slowly start digging into your farm. My grandfather used to say, we have a little bit of land in Tamil Nadu. When I was very young, he told me, it still stayed with me. He said, see, be very careful. This is our boundary. This is what we walk on. If you don't come here regularly, what the guy will start doing is that he will start digging the soil from that side and slowly, move this mate to the left. And you will not know. You will still think you're walking on your mate, but you would have lost 1.5 or 2 foot of land. He was also an organic farmer. Okay? So, our occupation has got nothing to do with these issues. Yeah, some people in certain occupations can. So, what happens in a corporate, in a company, for instance, the employees are trying to get maximum money for minimum work. And what is the employer trying to do? Trying to get maximum work for minimum money. Both are working for their advantage. Both is labh. Okay? And hence there is a pull configuration. I am also trying to pull, you are also trying to pull. This is what capitalism is based on. Capitalism is basically stating that this is our inherent human nature. And hence, if we all keep tugging at each other, we are all going to, benefit in some way. All right. So then we have justice. This is to do with human relationships and fulfillment in it. This is why you can never love your boss in the company. Possibly nahi hai. He's on the other side. He doesn't want to love you. He's there to see how he can benefit from you. Okay? Then you have the Drishti. I'm using the word religion. The word is dharma. We will get to what is religion tomorrow. You can also use order. Okay. This is what is resolution and what is not. Okay. And then you have truth or Satya Drishti. This basically deals with what exists and what does not. Deciding this is the Satya Drishti. Do atoms exist? Do they not exist? Okay? You can't do that with a profitable motive. पैसा मिलने से बोलूंगा atom exists. पैसा नहीं मिलने से atom doesn't exist. No. Irrespective of whether I like it or not, whether I'm going to get paid for it or not, it is the truth and atoms exist. Okay? So these are the 6 drishtis. And so depending on what drishti we have inside, it really changes the way we see things. Because if you have these drishtis, that's the way we are going to evaluate the experience we have with the external world via the man. Remember the drishti, the 6 drishtis are in what we are calling as a drishti or the disposition. Okay. And it is also going to change the nature of the images that we have and how we will implement those images. For instance, if I am getting married out of the love drishti, okay, do you think I'll be able to be fulfilling in that marriage, complementing that marriage? No. Because the moment money stops coming in that marital relationship, or I feel I've had enough, my behavior is going to change. If I like how somebody looks and gets married, do you think that alone will make the marriage last? No, because their face is going to undergo a change. Their skin will shrivel. One day they're going to get old. They're going to be gray. We notice other people's aging before we notice ours. And we still think we are the same 20. Like when I think of myself, I still get the feeling like if in my late 20s or early 30s and nothing can happen to me. And then sometimes when I'm walking on the street and somebody will say uncle, and then I'm like, oops, life is catching on. People who I think are, of my age group look at me and say uncle. And then I was like, what is, I don't look at the mirror very often. There's no, I shave once in 10 or 15 days, and yeah, sometimes I forget what the hair is looking like now. But so really, this is just to give us a peek of how these 6 drishtis function. I've skipped 6 slides so we can all breathe easy. All right, because each slide talks more in detail of every drishti, but you'll anyways get the slides. This is an introductory session, so we'll just keep it at that. So this really is how we today decide what is good and bad. So what is according to my liking, which is related to the senses, is what I say I like. If I'm saying I'm disliking it, it means I do not find it suitable to my senses. है ना? चाय बिल्कुल बेकार है. What is चाय के बिल्कुल बेकार है? According to me. For you, it may be good because you like that much of sugar, or you like it boiled to death. Some places in India will boil the tea to death. In Kerala and Tamil Nadu, they don't boil the tea and the milk. The tea decoction will be separate, and he will do this. Yeah, they do that in Kerala. Very famous also in southern Tamil Nadu. You seen it? You see it. It's quite an act. He'll take the chaya and do zoop, and the milk will take like a parabolic path and reach the thing. He'll not fall off. You go towards Salem. No, they're neighbors, next door. On the mountain and then to that side. No, also in Tamil Nadu, I said. What they do is they take chai patti jo hota hai na, they'll keep it in some cloth, and there'll be hot water always. Huh? Yeah, it's not socks. It looks like socks, but it's not. Socks mein thodi dalte hai. It's a piece of cloth. And the chai patti will always be in the hot water. So it's in contact with hot water. So all the essence is in the earth. It's always there. When you ask for chai, then you have options. You'll say sada, you'll say medium, or you'll say strong. If you say strong, then basically what it's going to do is take more of the decoction, and there'll be hot water, add sugar at the end, and you can just mix your own chai. It's actually tastier because it is boiled and probably healthier. But yeah, Again, for the health, when I say what is good and bad, so really, what is our notion of good and bad? And this helps us understand our subjective and objective notions of good and bad. When I feel that something that I did, some activity, some food that I ate is contributing or has contributed to the health of my body, then I say this is good. When I feel it has gone, awry, then I say it is bad. When I have benefited from some transaction, then I say this is good. This was a good deal. What is a good deal? According to the money that I thought I should be paying, I have either paid the same or had happened to pay less. At that time, I am not thinking of whether it was fair for the other party. I am just looking for my benefit. Okay. So when it is profitable, I say it's good. When it's a loss, I say it is bad. Similarly, in relationships, when I feel, uh, that the behavior has been amenable or, that I feel fulfilled by the behavior, I say this is good behavior. This is justice. Or I say it's injustice and I say it's bad behavior. This is wrong. So our notions of right and wrong really come from these six drishtis. Okay. When I feel resolved or if there is something to do with resolution or the order of the drishti of religion or dharma or order, you can pick your word. If it is leading to some kind of resolution, I say it is right. Otherwise, I say it's wrong. According to my version of religion. Okay. And then again, if something exists, we say it is truth and correct. We say, if I say Bhut Pret hota hai and you say it's impossible, then you say it's going to be wrong. I mean, do Bhutas and Pretas exist? You believe yes, and somebody says hota hai, you will say it is correct. So this gives us the range of human preference too, not just the directions in which we think. So it's pretty interesting. What happens today is all of us have our individual preferences of what we like and don't like for the five senses. I may like a particular kind of scent. You may not like any scent. You may like a different kind of scent. Our preferences of food are different. Correct? How much food we need and how much exercise we need to be healthy varies from one person's body to the other. Right? And how many things we need for our family also varies from one person to the other. We also have, what do you think? Do you think all of us have the same objective view of what is justice, order, and the truth, or does it vary from person to person? It varies. Everybody has their own notion of justice, order, and truth. So if you steal something in Saudi Arabia, you may get whacked. If you steal it in a village in Haryana, you'll probably be let off with a warning. If you do it somewhere in Bombay, you'll be caught and thrown into jail for XYZ years. Yeah, so our notions of justice also vary from place to place, from person to person. What I feel is unjust is something you may feel is really okay. That's the way it happens. Whereas in reality, what is the case? In reality, when we understand what is justice, what is order, and what is the truth in an objective way, yeah, we're trying to understand what is truth. We're trying to understand what is order in the self. We're trying to understand what exists. We're trying to understand what is human relationship. And when we're able to do that in an objective fashion, in a universal fashion, then we find that 4, 5, and 6, the drishtis of justice, order, and truth can be and are the same for everyone. Can everybody's taste ever be the same? Can two people's taste in everything ever be the same? No. So we will never be able to get a match between two people in whatever way, in relationship or inside a family, outside a family, based on these three perspectives. And आज क्या होता है? We use these three perspectives to also evaluate this. Right? I like this justice, I don't like. I like this truth, I do not like that truth. Whereas can truth be based on what I like and dislike, or will it have to be independent? Right. Can truth be based on what I like and dislike, or will truth have to be independent? Right. Yeah. Can truth be based on what I like or don't like, or will it have to be independent of it? It is independent. So it has to be unconditional. So if it is the truth, it has to be unconditional. If it is the truth, it cannot be based on किससे पैसा मिलता है नहीं मिलता है. We hear of scientists fudging findings in a research paper because they would have got paid more. Have you heard of these kind of news items? It keeps coming. Or scientists who copy results or lines from somebody else's paper and pass it on as their own. So what do we say? We say that is injustice. You, because you are lying. You are talking about the truth, but you are lying. So जिसको हम morality बोलते हैं, for me, this was the first time I was really able to appreciate or get a very, surgical answer to what really is morality and ethics, which is objective. नहीं तो moral science सबका अपना अपना, every religion has its own moral science. And then half the people in that religion barely follow it. Nobody can follow the entire religion. आदमी दिन में एक बार तो झूठ बोलता ही है, 10 साल में 2 बार तो बोलता ही है. And then we go to the confession chamber. So this is how the notion of right and wrong really depends on the 6 drishtis. Okay. That was just to give you my stick. I'm missing the stick. Devika walked away with my stick. There's one at the back. We'll get one again. So what happens is, really, which drishti is bigger than the other drishti? Okay. So you can see that the first drishti is smaller than the second drishti. What does it mean? Basically, we've written lower value gets merged in that which has a higher value. Laghu mulya, guru mulya mein sama jata hai. I eat something, I like it. I eat karela. It's not tasty, but I know it is good for my health. So मैं करेला खाऊंगा. बच्चे को भी बोलते हैं ना, you can't only eat जो तुमको अच्छा लगता है. You have to eat the thing. You don't like dal, but you have to eat dal because it is good for your health. There comes a time when if I have less money and if I don't eat dal, I can save more money. Then I'll skip the dal for the sake of making money. Or I'm so busy making money that I ignore my health. होता है कि नहीं? In fact, today we have professions that are guaranteed to mess up our health for the sake of salary. Call center, for example. I mean, I've been guilty of calling a call center at 8 p.m. myself. Sometimes if there is an flight to catch and there is a problem with the seat or the ticket. But really, it makes you wonder, what is the need to have 24/7 support? Why can't we let people sleep at night? Why can't the world start again in the morning? कहाँ भागना है? There's nowhere to run. This is the only scope to run. इससे बाहर कहाँ भागोगे? There's nowhere to go. कहाँ जाना है? So you see, the whole notion of running is really psychological. We've projected some kind of vague destination we want to reach, which we are unclear about as a society. So the people awake at 4 in the morning to be able to help you answer, I don't know, recharge your phone with 50 rupees. Do it in the morning, yeah. Let that guy sleep. You also go and sleep. Abhi to you get home delivery of food items in the metro cities, I think from 6 a.m. to midnight. You can order a burger at 6:30 a.m. Why are you eating at 6:30 in the morning? Should be doing something else. So really, this drishti helps us understand. There's a lot of people who end up becoming unhealthy because they've been chasing money their whole life and have not been able to pay attention to their health. And the interesting thing about health, which was something that really, struck me when I heard it for the first time, is that it takes a very long period of time for health to be gained, and a very long period of time to be lost also. And again, a very long period of time to be regained. Jaldi nahi hota hai. The way the body is constructed is, you do not get healthy very soon. And if you are healthy, you will not fall sick very soon. You have to consistently make a series of wrong things. Wrong eating time, wrong things to eat, wrong times to wake up for it to fall healthy. And then you will have to take medication for a very long period of time to correct it. जल्दी नहीं होता है जी.
अंग्रेजी की स्टेटमेंट और हिंदी की स्टेटमेंट दैट सीम टू बी कंट्राडिक्टरी मीनिंग वाइज देखें तो इंग्लिश स्टेटमेंट सीम्स राइट.
हाँ, वो हिंदी वाला उल्टा हो गया.
हाँ.
I told you, somebody else typed it.
गुरु मूल्य में लघु मूल्य होना चाहिए.
हाँ, वो ठीक है. Okay, so these six Drishtis help us do that. Any query on this? If we're done with the six Drishtis, we can proceed to the next activity that we have in the cell. बाद में करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है. Okay, let me do that. It'll give you some breathing space. Break from listening. हाँ, नहीं जाता है. हम उसको भोगते हैं. I mean, we suffer its consequences when somebody does it to us. Others suffer the consequences when we do it to them. जब हम अन्याय करते हैं ना. Anybody here who has never offended anybody? नहीं, all of us have been guilty. सबने किसी की बैंड बजाई कभी तो, है ना. होता है. So we are not aware. We are usually more aware of likes and मन की जो दृष्टि है, जो बॉडी के साथ ट्रांजैक्शन होते रहता है, and what I like, I don't like. मेरे को ये पसंद है, पसंद नहीं है. In fact, many a times we end up shouting at people or, having a problem with people because they have done something that we don't approve of, which can be very small things. अभी भी होता है. I mean, for example, you say, this is the way my laptop should be kept. You're living at home, your wife comes and keeps it there. You start shouting at her. यार कितने बार तुमको बोला है you should keep the laptop there, you keep keeping it there. ये क्या हुआ है? Well, like I am damaging the relationship for the position of a laptop, a plastic. Wife is costlier, no, any day. मतलब शादी itself must have taken you like 8-10 lakhs just to bring her home. Minimum. Laptop 20,000 का है, 30,000 का है. उसके बाद you have fed her for 20 years. By law, you have given her half your sampatti. So even if you look at it in terms of the price value, the wife outranks the laptop any day. मतलब way costlier. But at that time, we get blinded. Right? What happens is I have this image that this is where the laptop should be, and now I see this action, and now this conflicts with that image I have. So I'm not looking at justice. And when this behavior gets repetitive, it starts getting irritating because once you tell somebody they don't listen, and then we don't know why people listen. This is what we call as, behavioral habits. And sometimes it takes a very long time to get over them, but mostly because we're totally unaware of it. Ji.
Sorry. You know where I'm getting at, right? If I buy a BMW or a Mercedes, I want it to be performing as a BMW and a Mercedes. So if you're talking about a wife and I've invested so much, you should listen to it, no?
No, then that means you're looking at, then you should have just got a servant.
No. I mean,
that's you're basically, so the wife is not an object of profit. I mean, it can be the other way around also. Neither is the husband. The relationship between two people is not monetary in nature. It is bhavatmak. It's based on feelings. The fulfillment we get from one another is not one of advantage. When we invest in a car or a Mercedes, it is a material object that we want to put to use. So we use things. We use material things. We don't use people. We behave with them. Human being resource nahi hai. Because I don't like to be used. A human being is fulfilled using feelings. Be it anybody, a wife or somebody working for me, even when I am working for someone. So, really the example of a car is here. Okay. So, this is a different domain, this is a different domain. With this domain, I do according to the rules of this domain. With this domain, I do according to the rules of this domain. I have to be nice to my wife, okay, and I can accelerate the BMW, not the other way around. Be nice to the BMW and accelerate the wife. वो उल्टा हो जाता है. Okay. Human Resource Department, yeah. The country has a Ministry of Human Resources. They are planning to call it Education Ministry because a human being is not a resource. Nature is a resource. उसके साथ क्या करना है वही नहीं पता है ना. We are exploiting nature. Education कर दिया. HRD cell is still there. Because HR cell. So we see here that तो ये बदल गया, गुरु मूल्य में लघु मूल्य समा जाता है. So likes is subsumed in health, health is subsumed in profit, and for justice, profit is subsumed in justice. Example, even a thief जो पैसा चोरी करता है from others which is not his, where does he give it? In the family. He gives it up here. वहां उसके लिए justice है. We take all our money and finally what do? We go and give it to our family. I mean, even if you're not married, you give it to your parents or somebody. You give it somewhere. So all the money that we do is really subsumed in this. An example here of, justice overtaking likes is for the mamta bhav. We'll see mamta as a value or a mulya. So when a mother feeds her child, it's not just a desire for taste, but it is for the health of the child. So mother gets fulfillment, tripti, from the fact that she gave up something for the child. So there is joy, happiness in giving up them. Yeah? People give up things. Sometimes people give up things for orderness or dharma. I have a friend, his name is, he's from Marwar, Ranjit Agrawal. Recently I met him and he said he used to love kacha pyaj. Okay, so he had gone when he went to Kashi for the first time. In their family, there's a tradition that basically if you go to Kashi or one of these places, you give up something that you really like. So when you're eating, you like kacha pyaj, he gave it up. And he was very happy with it. Cut onion with the food. He could not eat food if there was no cut onion. So one day he decided, why don't I give up something I really like? For what? For some greater self-control. Your order का मतलब है मेरा अंदर का self-control, not to control anybody else. You'll see what the order or dharma really means. Understanding this overall resolution is called order. You remember we said we want comprehensive understanding in all these dimensions. That's called order. Order within me, between all my individual 4 dimensions, the material, behavioral, intellectual and spiritual, and order outside in the family, society, nation, internation and nature. Everything put together is called order. So we'll see tomorrow that stones also have religion. Cows also have religion. And the human being also has a religion and it's one religion. Okay? What we have right now is beliefs in the name of religion. And we saw that the second day itself, when I asked about the different assumptions we carry in the spiritual domain. You remember? There can be no God. There is only one God. There is one God, but only one form. Has form. No form. One God, many forms. Females cannot be gods. Males, females, both can be gods. Can all be correct at the same time or only one can be correct? सारा एक साथ सही हो सकता है? नहीं. In truth, in reality, only one can be right. इसका मतलब क्या है? Either one is right and everybody else is wrong, or all of them are wrong and something else is right. It really doesn't matter. But let's find him anyways. Since this one we are not able to manage. It matters for our fulfillment of our spiritual dimension of questioning. Okay? See, I'll give you a fun fact. I mean, if it is fun. You say what you're saying is no longer any funny. See the four dimensions. We started with it. It's very beautiful. See the way the reality is really structured. This is the material dimension. Through likes, priya, hit, labh, we approach the material dimension. You cannot take labh into the relationship dimension. If you see your son as an object of profit, okay, मैं इस पर इतना खर्चा किया, how much did I get? You think that is ever going to function? No. You'll always find your son was a big loss. I told you, it cost 55,000 to bring him into the world. Every month 3,000 रुपए कम से कम डायपर के लिए मिनिमम, है ना? उसके बाद बात सुनेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं. You don't know whether he'll join your business. You don't know whether he will support you once he grows up. You don't know whether he'll marry the girl you think he should be marrying. He'll marry who he wants. It's a complete loss. So the material dimension, उधर जो लिखा है is this. This is the what dimension? अभी आप बोलो. Huh? Out of the four dimensions, spiritual, intellectual, behavioral, that using the justice perspective, what dimension corresponds to the nyaya or justice perspective? Behavioral. Okay. Intellectual and इधर justice किसके साथ करेंगे? लोगों के साथ करेंगे. Who will you do justice with? Who will you be just with? Who will you fulfill your values with? You will do it with people. Okay? You will do it with people. That's where you will do it. Where do you want order? You want order within yourself. And what do you want to do using the spiritual dimension? You want to find out what is the truth. Do I exist? Do I not exist? Did God make me? Did your God make you and made me also? Or did my God make all of us? Or did we all just pop up from nothing? Okay? So, it's still in the same. You see, those dimensions correlate to these perspectives. Okay? Just like a fun fact. I mean, out of syllabus. Okay? That's not part of the syllabus. But, उसमें ना when we were young एक न्यूज़पेपर आजकल बताने आता है कि नहीं, it used to be called Ripley's Believe It or Not. देखा आपने? एक रिप्ली का था, he would bring out these very interesting facts from all over the world, which are very hard to believe. Which maybe you will get a few Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of things. Intellect में आएगा, हाँ, but basically the drishtis will extend across. So just a basic here. तो उल्टा नहीं होता. द हायर वैल्यू डज नॉट गेट मर्ज्ड इन द लोअर वैल्यू, है ना. गुरु मूल्य लघु मूल्य में समाता नहीं है. सो व्हाट रियली वी वोंट गेट इनटू एवरी सिंगल डिस्कशन हियर, बट फॉर एवरी इवेंट डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट योर पर्सपेक्टिव इज, आपकी जो दृष्टि है, that will really decide or determine your response to that event. For example, you have a store and it gets robbed, you will see it as profit, as loss. Basically the nyaya, right? लाभ अलाभ, अलाभ means loss हो गया. So for everything, when we exercise, we take medicines. This is the drishti with which we are looking. If there is an earthquake, there can be many drishtis. You may not like the fact there is an earthquake. You may get hurt. It may destroy your house. Okay, or you may even say that there is some disharmony in nature and galat ho gaya. 4 people looking at the earthquake can look at it from 4 different points of view, based on the drishti. Even one person themselves can look at it from 4 different points of view, and so on. So when I share the PowerPoint, you can go ahead and kind of study this, because it does take time. Okay, this is very interesting. We'll just quickly. So also for different people, one of these 6 drishtis is usually predominant. So somebody in whom the likes or the priya drishti is very predominant may spend more of their time trying to get favorable sensations from the body. मतलब जैसा खाना खा रहा हूँ उसके साथ ही मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि नेक्स्ट मील किधर से आएगा. and how it can be really tasty. All the time I'm looking for things that are beautiful. I'm uh, whatever. I'm mm, what do you call it? Decorating the house. I'm trying to see how to get a different car. So I'm constantly trying to see what is favorable as far as things and sensory impulses are concerned. Okay, that's how I spend most of my attention, my free time. So somebody in whom the health perspective is very dominant may obsess about whether their food is healthy, whether it has a nice nutrient content. इससे मैं बीमार तो नहीं पड़ूंगा. Have you seen people like that? They're very obsessive about what they're eating and they're constantly scared that something may happen to them. And in their free time, they'll be doing kapalbhati, even in their train. I used to do that in the middle when I was doing it and then I stopped it. Not that I was obsessed, but I would do for some time in the morning. I got used to doing it. For people in whom the profit perspective is very predominant, are preoccupied with wealth and making money. उसका जो सुख है पैसे से है. Like our friend Kirana man KC Oza that I told you, no? You remember? I told you. he got uh, satisfaction from counting money, not from spending it. अभी उल्टा है. अभी जो generation है, they want to spend money even if they don't have it. That's called consumerism. That's like the debt industry. And America has championed that. You're constantly in debt, but you ensure that you're able to get as much as. पहले का जो ethics था उल्टा था. You kept earning, but you hardly spent. उसको देख के नहीं समझ में आएगा इतना बड़ा सेट. पता ही नहीं चलता है. I have a friend who, if you see, you will feel that, I don't know, maybe he look like a school headmaster. A huge guy, though he's from Rajasthan, from someplace in Rajasthan. Somebody told me that during the emergency, then Indira Gandhi के time emergency लगा था ना, 5 trucks of gold and silver went out of his house. Not suitcases, trucks. He has a house that he has a Haveli with 126 rooms. Huh? That's why they don't leave it. It's locked now. They couldn't take care of it. Okay? 126 rooms. It's still there. I told him I'll come see it someday, but I haven't been able to. Uh, so really, the profit motive, and this is what happens when our profit motive is on overdrive. Then we feel that, you see, you remember we said that our need for happiness of the three kinds, happy experience of the three kinds, our need for peace, our need for contentment is continuous and inexhaustible. कभी खत्म नहीं होता है. If you want to fulfill this very inexhaustible need using money, will there ever be a limit to the money that you can earn? It can never be limited because my needs are unlimited, are qualitative, and I'm trying to fulfill it using an object that is limited in nature. So that object has to theoretically be infinite. It can never be finite. I will always be unfulfilled. I mean, they say when our friend Bin Laden, peace be upon his soul, he's dead now. When he rammed those aeroplanes into the world, one of the Trade Center, WTC, I remember distinctly they were interviewing some other people and they interviewed stockbrokers in New York, in the New York Stock Exchange, asking them, how did you feel? They said, we did not even register that the aeroplanes had gone into the stock exchange and so many people had died because the market was crashing. The New York Stock Exchange kept crashing. And he said, when we locked up our offices and we were going home, that's when we realized that our country had been attacked. 3,000 people have died, and the World Trade Center, which was like an epic building, there are now no more. ये होता है अंधा होना. तो कौन अंधा होता है? Body does not go blind. No, the eyes are open, the brain is functioning, the heart is functioning, the kidney is functioning, the self goes blind. So what does it mean to see? Right? We are seeing from here, and we are seeing from here. When we are seeing from the man, we are basically selecting what to focus on using the 5 senses. So if the 20 of you here, my mindset, my mindset is really deciding whether I'm going to be looking at your glasses, your body, your expression, your clothes, your phone, whether I'm going to be thinking you're rich, you're poor, all that is happening here. Okay. Based on what I see, selective, filtered information makes its way up here. And privacy, I have this mindset. This is developed over a period of time. So this, depending on which drishti is really active in me, the set of images that I have are already preset according to that particular drishti. So if it is lab oriented, if it's profit oriented, I'm going to be looking at all the information coming into me only from that point of view, and that's all I see. If it is free oriented, if it's likes oriented, I'm going to be looking at only what is, suitable for my senses. That's when I'm called self-centered. बोलते ना मतलबी आदमी है, doesn't care for anybody else. बोलते कि नहीं? You find people are very self-centered. This is what it means to be a self-centered person. This is what it means to be a profit-centered person. Then he or she cannot see the rest of life. And as a result, what happens? They are ending up living only here. This is missing, this is missing, this is missing. यहाँ 10-5 रुपए चंदा दे देता to keep this happy. तुम खुश रहो. Let me do what I'm doing. And now, once a year I'll give you a suitcase. तू भी बने रहे. तो करते हैं कि नहीं? The biggest benefactor of that is in Andhra Pradesh. In the world. Yeah. Biggest benefactor. Nobody gets so many gifts. गोल्ड कैश सब मिलता है
भैया
जी।
ये जो प्रॉफिट मोटिव है वो हेल्थ के बाद क्यों रखा गया है? मतलब हेल्थ शुड, मतलब इन जनरल सेंस वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट health should be above profit. But
Yeah,
profit is
but in reality, what do you think? I mean, if you have to feed your family, would you rather have acidity and still earn money, or will you say, नहीं मेरे को acidity होता है मैं पैसा नहीं कमाऊंगा? What did you do? You go and earn money and pop a pill for the acidity, because you have money, you can pay money and get rid of the acidity. लाभ is bigger. आप practically देखें ना, what should be is different. Should be में तो ये होना चाहिए कि truth should be the supreme and order should be the supreme and justice should be the biggest. But होता क्या है? Even today. Profit. Not just today, but even later on. This is of a higher value. Okay, compared to health. Okay. Similarly, for somebody in whom the justice perspective is larger, then we choose the responsibility and duty in relationship over personal preferences like what I like and profit and all that. Then when you are at home amongst the people that you feel are your own, उसमें आपको अच्छा लगता है, बुरा लगता है, what makes money doesn't really make a difference or should not make a big difference. When there is an over dominance of the order or the religion, or the order drishti, which is called resolution, we find that we are preoccupied with resolution and questions like that. Jesse, we've been sitting at, what is it, the 4th day. What drishti have you been using till you sit here for this content? Have you been using the profit drishti? No, because you've not paid any money to be here so far. So far it's free. You cannot be profitable. You're already wondering whether it will be worth it. Itna do ki utna do. The thoughts must have crossed your mind. Health. No, you didn't come here for any health benefit. You didn't come here because the food will be to your liking. It was none of these three. In fact, you will not be able to listen to it. आप भाग जाएंगे. If you have any of the first three, you'll book your ticket and be out on the 4th day. Wala Baba, this is too much for me. Right? So you have some space for the for resolution, which is why we're still sitting and alive. Alive का मतलब breathing and listening and so on. It's a different matter that it can get a little overwhelming at times, and it will, because it's new and it's quite a lot. But okay, so that's really the 6 drishtis. Okay, I think you spent significant time on it, so we can proceed. The perspectives of life, health, and profit vary from person to person and within a person from time to time. एक आदमी दिन में एकदम उदार रहता है, शाम को कंजूस बन जाता है. Varies, है ना? हाँ, when he is in a good mood, he'll be udar. When the mood is bad, he'll become कंजूस. He'll not want to part with his money. Okay, and the perspectives of likes health and profit are subjective. They vary from person to person and within a person from time to time. The actual justice, order and truth, these drishtis are objective in nature and they don't change. And those are the ones we want to understand. So you can see here, what's written here really is, the notions of justice and order and truth vary from country, ideology and belief. हर कंट्री में जस्टिस अलग है, हर धर्म का न्याय अलग है, एक ही कंट्री में बहुत सारे धर्म भी है ना, जबकि धर्म एक होगा क्या अनेक होगा, एक होगा. देयर हैज टू बी वन ऑर्डर. हाउ कैन देयर बी सो मेनी वर्जन्स ऑफ द ट्रूथ? It can't be. I mean, one of them has to be right, or they're all equally wrong. One of them. Okay. So that has completed our second activity. We finished man, we finished vritti. We are now coming to the chit, and we already did this as a small activity where we took our set of desires and saw how these desires are the ones that drive our life. Our whole life is a story of the acquisition of the things we seek. मेरी जो इच्छा है ना, इसको पूरा करना मेरी जिंदगी है. So if the इच्छा or the desire changes, my life also changes. In fact, if my ichha or belief of how my relationship with somebody changes, then my experience with them also changes. Right? So the day somebody gets married and they come into the house and let's say I am the father-in-law and I see them, the bahu, as somebody that has to be dominated or has to be subjugated, then that is how I'm going to behave with them. True or false? If I see them as somebody who's a daughter who has to be taken care of, that is then going to dictate how I will be with them. So मेरा उनके साथ जो भाव है, the actual feeling that I have with them is going to be dependent on how I see them and how my image of them is. So in us we carry these various images of every relationship that has come to us since childhood, from how we saw our parents, from the different magazines and the movies that we read. Sometimes it is surprising. I mean, you notice certain tendencies in people and you feel this must have come from some Amitabh Bachchan movie. When you see them acting, कभी तो पिक्चर देखा होगा and धुप उसके अंदर घुस गया, and he is not even aware that he started behaving like Amitabh Bachchan now. And it can be so deep rooted, sometimes it is impossible to spot it. Okay, because it is in the deep recesses of our mind. Now you understand, because where are we? We are basically with the body. ठंडी लग रहा है, गर्मी लग रहा है, अच्छा लगा, बुरा लगा, पैसा कमाना है, इसने ऐसा बोल दिया, and that's life. We're not able to really go inside. So we already did this, so I'm going to skip this. I moved it to this section from the previous section after having seen ours. So we already did this. Remember, we've done this exercise. So देखो कुछ portion हमने पहले से कर दिया, so we can skip it. I'll clean up this table. But if you remember, we said we will see the destination of our desires. So the desires can be the four vishayas or the four objects of the body, which is ahar, nidra, bhaya and maithun, which is food, sleep, fear and coitus, satiation. It can be the gratification of the five senses. It can be the happiness that I get from production, काम करके जो अच्छा लगता है, that can be a desire. It can be the happiness that I get from here. Again, it can be relationship, it can be purpose-based, and so on. Yeah, and there can be these six. So each one of these will be colored by these six victories. You समझ में आता है? Okay. Like I can be doing work for the love of work. I can be doing work for profit. I can be doing work because I feel I am doing something useful for society. The action is the same. The underlying motive is different. Okay. Out of these six phases, we can be using one or more of these phases. So that's a brief glimpse. Yeah. But when so prosperity is a much higher value. जो समृद्धि या prosperity का जो भाव है, that is not just dependent on the production. So that is basically how you accept yourself कि मेरे पास ज्यादा है and इसकी continuity from some that is born of some understanding. So that exists in the chit, in the psyche. ये जो सुख है ये मन का है. आपने गाजर का हलवा बनाया और अच्छी बनी, उसका सुख है. इट्स अ स्मॉलर थिंग. ये समझ में आता है? आपने गाजर उगाया और उगा, ये अच्छा लगा, करने का सुख है ये. समृद्धि, it may or may not be accompanied by समृद्धि. समृद्धि इज अ हायर वैल्यू कि मेरे पास हर समय के लिए ज्यादा है, इरेस्पेक्ट ऑफ गाजर उगा कि नहीं उगा. No, no, no. It's not. It doesn't mean that you don't have. कि ऐसा होता ही नहीं कि किसी के पास कुछ है नहीं. लंगोट तो रहता ही आदमी के पास. इट्स इम्पॉसिबल कि कुछ भी नहीं है एक आदमी के पास, राइट? People have something. Samriddhi, we'll see if we can talk of Samriddhi when we talk of. I skipped it in the. I mean, we'll take it up when we probably discuss, the relationship with nature, because Samriddhi is really to do with material things, and Samriddhi is a little bit. It's a time-taking thing to understand because अभी समृद्धि के अंदर पैसा घुसा हुआ है. There's money mixed into everything. The moment we think of things, we think of money. The moment we think of production, we think पैसा. Like मुझे उत्पादन करना, I want to live off the land. I'm 20,000 rupees, 40,000. पैसा छोड़ के we're not able to think. जबकि money is a psychological concept, right? We saw it is a promissory note. It has no inherent value. The note that you have has no inherent value. It is a promise by the government that you will get the goods worth 500 rupees tomorrow. If you take it to the RBI office, they will give you 500 rupees equivalent. Let's say the country goes bankrupt. Okay, then that money has no value. It's a promise. They'll give you 5 coconuts. बोला sorry boss, सब खत्म हो गया, ये 5 नारियल लेके जा. They cannot. Yeah. Yeah. So intellectual, it will not be peace profit. The profit motive will come in when you're trying to derive advantage out of it. Okay. So what happens is, so that we're not in behavior, we're not expecting profit. Basically what happens is today, see, it's not that we have zero justice, zero dharma and zero truth. Everybody knows I exist. इतना तो truth आपको पता है. We started the conversation. आप हैं कि नहीं है? Everybody said मैं हूँ. If somebody comes and says you're not there, you say what nonsense. I know I'm there. There are people who are there who believe that they are not there. वो भी है variety, but they're very less. Those who take the Advaita interpretation to heart will have to end up saying that I'm not there. Okay, or in some Buddhist traditions. What happens today is the perspective of justice, order and truth is biased. Everybody has a bias about it. You see, so it is like justice. ये जो वाला है ना, ये जो justice है, this should be absolute. है ना? Human behavior may be said, human nature is, we like trust, we like respect, we like affection. Okay? The order that you find in nature and human order has to be the same. Truth has to be the same for everyone. But when I'm using the likes perspective, okay, so इसमें leakage current है. What are the leakage current? I am using this to see this. I am using this to see this. I am using this to see this. What I like as a truth is what is the truth. What I like as order is the order. जो मेरे धर्म में बोला वो सही है, तेरा गया तेल लेने. And the interesting thing is, no dharma is sub. Everybody has split. कोई भी धर्म ले लो, 2 शाखा मिलता है. बुद्धिज्म, हिनयान, थेरावादन. मुस्लिम लो, सुन्नी, शिया. हिंदुइज्म पूछो ही मत, बोर्ड भर जाएगा, है ना? जैनिज्म, श्वेतांबर, दिगंबर, कोई भी एक ले लो. कैथोलिक, प्रोटेस्टेंट, ये सब एक कैसा यार, तुम दोनों एक तो निपटो. So what I like is what comes here. So according to me, you did wrong. Every country has its own sense of justice. हमारे country में justice बदलते रहते हैं. पहले you have 4 years jail, now they're saying 2 years jail, then they'll say 1 year jail. Uh, there is no this thing of not anybody. Everybody has life. In some rare cases, you can use profit for relationship. जैसे dowry था, क्या है? You want to get married, you want to make money also of it. हाँ? यार पैसा चाहिए दुकान लगा. Why do you want to marry? था ना? We had dowry. अभी भी है. धीरे धीरे अब लोगों को शर्म आती है because they are educated. They'll take, they'll not tell anybody. पहले बोलते थे. तो धीरे धीरे खत्म हो रहा है. अच्छा. Started talking. When me and my brother were married, we split the expenses. Her father refused to split it, so we paid for some things and they paid for some things. Finally, they would give I don't know, a goat or a cow or something. अभी that was to help the girl settle up. वो कुछ गलत नहीं था. What I'm trying to say is, we can understand these practices, and you see how the world is changing. If you're getting modern education, you cannot go and say anymore कि मैंने dowry लिया. Yeah. Then it's not dowry, no, then it's a gift. Dowry is when the name dowry is when it's a demand. When it's a gift, वो अपने मन से दिया. एक तो once somebody has raised his daughter, brought her up to 55 kilos, 60 kilos, है ना. Generally women उसके ऊपर होता नहीं 60, 65. To make somebody 60 kilos, I don't know, 2 टन 3 टन का माल अंदर गया है? खाना पीना, दूध, घी, मक्खन, कितना यू काउंट हाउ मच यू. मेरा 82 है. इफ आई थिंक ऑफ बहुत सारा माल गया है. एक तो फ्री में इतना सारा दे रहा हूं, ऊपर से पैसा भी तो मांगेगा. एंड देन शी हैज टू वॉश योर क्लोथ्स एंड प्रेस योर हेड एंड लिसन टू योर नॉनसेंस. वो डाउरी है. वेयर द वुमन इज अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट जिक्सॉ पजल. जबकि when you look at the self, the activities are the same. The woman has a desire for justice. She also wants to know the truth. Male female में कोई अंतर है क्या एक्टिविटीज में? कुछ नहीं है. In fact, you will find that females are superior because their justice wala is more developed. अभी धीरे धीरे changing as women are doing MBAs, they are losing that edge because these women can be ruthless then, but they still hold that because of their gender, because of childbirth. When they go through childbirth, or for some reason because of the way their bodies are structured, made hormonally, the sensitivity towards people and relationships is higher. This is why it is difficult to find a ruthless woman king. You will find a just woman king, Jhansi ki Rani, and you will find Aurangzeb. Get a woman Aurangzeb, mushkil hai. So actually the man is getting a good deal. He is getting 60 kilos plus a lot of care. Why do you want money? He cannot demand. Then that's a gift. No, then that's a gift. No, gift and dowries. No, dowries you. So, Abhi, see, my friend is from Bihar. He studied in IIT. Okay, and he had some problem at home. कुछ तो वो था. So he had to involve the police or something. He went spoke to the police inspector. The deal was settled at 12 lakhs. 12 lakh रुपए दो. I will help you with your जो भी कुछ का झंझट. He said after 5 days, the policeman inspector arrived at his house in the evening unannounced because he had his address. है घर पे आया and he said, you know what, I have a deal for you. He said, बोल. He said, "You don't give me the 12 lakhs. I will do the job for you for free. My niece, I found out you're from IIT. Okay? मेरी भांजी है, उससे शादी कर, ये स्कॉर्पियो भी रख." मेरा दोस्त बोला मैं कल तक बताऊंगा, रात का तत्काल टिकट क्या भाग लिया उधर से, बोला बाबा जान बचाओ. अभी this is like 5-6 years ago. So you can sell your, you put your, क्या बेच रहा है तो, I mean you're giving your niece up in marriage. How will that man, आप ये भी नहीं सोच रहे हो, when you're selling your daughter, how is she going to be treated there? क्या, what are you selling? I mean, you are selling a teddy bear, स्कॉर्पियो में डाल के ले जा. There's no sense, right? They kidnap. अभी भी पेपर में आते रहता है. They kidnap men and जबरदस्ती get them married. Bihar is different. We'll come to Bihar after existence is over. It's some parts of Bihar are outside existence. No, it's really, I mean, human beings, from this point of view, we all look similar, but we are actually crazy. If you look at humanity over 5,000 years, the number of thoughts, the number of variety you get in the spiritual, intellectual, material, and behavioral dimension, the things we've done to each other, the things we've thought of, the things we're still doing is completely crazy. And you know why? Because, I mean, because of this Akshay Shakti, this ability in the conscious self, which is really infinite. So you can really think of infinite ways to mess up things. One way to get it right, and infinite ways to mess it up. How many ways are there to take care of the planet? One. Let the planet be. How many ways are there to mess it up? Infinite. करते ही जाओ. Nobody thought we'll mess up the air. देखो पानी गया. पहला पंजाब में धरती गया. पूरा खारा हो गया. I have our friend who's from Punjab. He says पंजाब में राइस कल्टीवेशन हो रहा है. क्यों? They put so much of fertilizer for the wheat crop that the soil till about 1 meter became acidic. Khara ho gaya, so nothing grows. Then they sold that soil to the wheat bhatti, brick making factory. वो अंदर नीचे चले गया. So when it rains, इतना इतना पानी खड़ा होता है उसमें, only rice will grow. Wheat cannot grow. So Punjab is changing from a wheat basket to a rice basket because we sold off the mud. Now where will you get the mud from? वो तो it became bricks, right? And everybody built houses with it. So and we messed up the air also. Now how will you fix the air? You can't clean up the air. Impossible. Yeah. So that time we can look up and pray. And ऊपर से आवाज आएगा, अच्छा बेटा अभी याद आया तुमको, इतने दिन से मैं तुमको बोल रहा था. ये ले तेरा ब्लैक मनी वापस देना. आई डोंट वांट इट एनी मोर. हिसाब किताब का होता था. I mean, think of it. No, people are actually taking black money and trying to bribe the god. उसको क्या लगता है ऊपर जाएगा क्या पैसा? They give it, no? I mean, they give. पद्मनाभ स्वामी नो, बट वो ब्लैक मनी का नहीं है, वो तो वो है पुराना वाला है ब्लैक मनी. Oh no, this is thousands of years old. Padmanabha Swami temple, what they opened so far is 1 lakh crores है. नहीं दे फर्स्ट वॉल्ट जो मिला. Padmanabha Swami temple. अच्छा. How much Mughals would have taken? वो तो everybody took. देखिए झगड़ा जब होता है ना, then That time there was no India. See, when the Mughals were there was no concept of India. It was a free world. Okay, so we'll proceed. Little more insight into the activities of the imaging. So another interesting observation we can make is that the sum total of all our images is to do with one of the four aspects we have already discussed. Either you have images of how you are about yourself, or you have images of your relationship with other people, like what? मेरा भाई ऐसा है, मेरी पत्नी ऐसी है, ये सास ऐसी थी, ये बहू ऐसा बन गई, वो पहला धंधा वाला ऐसा था, अभी बदल गया. These are all images we have, right? We have uh, value judgments about all the people that we live with, and it develops over a period of time. So it usually starts nicely, and then as our evaluation becomes apriya, from priya, right? From likes, you start disliking the person. The face will still be the same. Our bhav, the way we see that person starts deteriorating. Correct? So we have images about the society and about the rest of the world. Hmm? Yeah, just take the mic, please. Because he's closer, I can hear him. Um,
When we have an experience, can we have more than one image?
when we have an experience, like for instance,
So I'm going through an experience. So when I go through the flow chart, right? So can I have
yeah,
more than one image? Say
infinite.
myself and humans, or myself with the material world.
Yeah. These are all categories of images, but they all exist together and they'll all be correlated. So there's myself and somebody I don't like. There is somebody I don't like with somebody else I like. There are three people I don't like who are trying to attack. यही तो है ना, पाकिस्तान इधर ही तो है और किधर है? There are different countries, different dharms, different people, different jati. All those classification, divisions, subdivisions that I've made, they all exist in here. They all fall under the category of the images I have of my relationship with people and how people are. Alright. And then you have a set of images which are to do with the nature or with the material world. What we wear, what we eat, what we own, the trees and animals, everything. And our views about nature and existence. So these four things that we took, it's just written in different order, okay? But these really are the images that we hold. That I'm this kind of a person, I'm a nice person. Till you get married, yeah? Somebody comes and tells you, I don't think you're that nice. Till you're married, everybody thinks they're very nice. And then after a few years, we find out, mere mein ye galti hai, wo galti hai. And if you're brave enough, you'll want to listen to it. If you're not that brave enough, you'll be fighting and pushing back. Why? Because despite all our shortcomings, we like ourselves first and foremost. I like myself so much that I can't see mistakes about myself, which is why it's very hard to accept one's own mistakes because you have to use this drishti to see yourself. When I see myself through this lens, through the lens of likes, I will always like myself. Everybody is in love with themselves. Most people are in love with their bodies, with how they look, and all of us are in love with ourselves. Yeah. So that's how, just like a brief, and you can again do your own homework. Homework is here. You have to do it inside yourself at home. I just put up the different four aspects. I won't read it just so you don't think we're doing something different. We started with this intellectual, but it's the same thing. Different aspects are correlating to these different things we're understanding. For example, relationship with nature is material. Relationship with nature and existence is both intellectual and spiritual dimension and so on. The three sources of our images and desires. So there are three sets from where this comes. I'll just kind of read through all of this. If we take up each one for discussion, it'll take quite a bit of time. One is we have images based on our sensory experiences. I went to this hotel, I ate this, I went to that car, I saw that showroom, so this is one set of images that I have. The other source that I have is based on some external information like you're getting from this workshop, etc. Okay? And sometimes we get it from our own understanding of reality. So these are really the three sources. So what we're asking to do in the workshop is to take this belief, The workshop is a belief for you. You have to assess it. And when you find it to be true, it becomes yours. Till then, it is something on the board that somebody was, pointing out. Um, this is an interesting thing that we are really our beliefs or personality. We live them. Okay. Uh, for example, my name is an image I have. What caste I'm born into. If you're in India, you will get your caste by birth. Uh, that's the interesting thing about caste. Caste is a race. You cannot convert the caste. There's only two religions in the world which are race-based. One is Judaism. The other is what you call as Hinduism. It's a race. If you're born into it, it's part of your identity. The religion and what kind of profession I should do is the basic images that we grow up with when we are born as children. जो अपने आप हो जाता है ना कि ये मेरा नाम है. This is an identification that we get. Again, we have notions about our education status, our standard of living, position in society, and so on and so forth. And a lot of things to do with self-esteem, money, etc. I also have beliefs about my own body because I'm not able to distinguish between the self and the body. I take all attributes of the self and superimpose it on myself, on my identity. So I think I am 6 feet 2 inches tall, which I am, but that's it. I mean, it's just a statistical number. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I feel good or bad because I didn't do anything for it. Okay, none of us can control our own body height. You can maybe control the weight, but you can't do anything about the height or its features. It's just what it is. So it's a natural occurrence. So this is another kind of identity that we have. So this is really talking of identities. The self as a human, not as some abstract entity. Myself, the self is the self. Swayam, yeah. But when you exist as a person, Sunil, the way you are. And that's how people will recognize you. Okay? When it comes to relationships, we have these kind of beliefs, that I should not listen to my parents anymore. Younger brothers or sisters need to be bossed over. Like in India, we have this that if you don't touch somebody's feet, you're not cultured. My parents can take care of themselves in their old age and so on and so forth. So you can read this at home at leisure. I think you kind of get the idea of how these very deep-rooted beliefs really influence how we see the world and how we live our lives. Okay, and all of us have them. Again, we have the same thing about society, that people from a particular country may not be nice. A lot of times people find when they travel to a particular country that their whole view, have you heard of आपको पेपर में पढ़ता है ना, people go to Pakistan ऐसे घूमने के लिए, इधर से ऐसा लगता है राक्षस, everybody has a time bomb inside his pocket, है ना, लगता है ना पाकिस्तानी, every Pakistani should have a grenade in his pocket. That's the view you have. But when people go, and I've had, our friend Vinish went walking एक बार, धरना करने गए, 2 बार मारपीट भी हुई, he got beaten up also. You find that people are actually nice, they're just the same everywhere. Okay? चाय फ्री मिलता है, ये भी हुआ, and people got free auto rides, इंडिया से आया बोल के. ठीक है, the thing may also happen, somebody may also knife you. I'm not saying कि one, but it's not all only that way. Yeah. So these are the beliefs, right? And if you see, some of these beliefs are actually leading to large-scale wars. Look at this one. It is okay to exploit or bomb some other country. When the US wanted to stop World War II, it actually became an ego clash. Who was the Prime Minister who ordered the hit? Hiroshima, Nagasaki, I forget his name. But, Roosevelt. They first put the first one, and उसमें उन्होंने देखा कितने लोग मर गए. And Japan immediately refused to send. There was no need to put the second one. They could have waited. मस्ती में डाला second वाला, because he had already made up his mind. He had already been so irritated with the fact that Japan was not surrendering. Japan was not such a big deal. The second one was not needed. है ना? एक बोलते हैं ना मन में कीड़ा था कि करना ही है. That caused that havoc. So this shows the power of beliefs, how it can really change or destroy. Timing. हाँ या हाँ नहीं वो तो मैक्सिमाइज वो तो वसूल करेंगे ना. इफ यू स्पेंड सो मच ऑन द बॉम्ब यू विल वांट टू वसूल इट. पैसा वसूल प्रॉफिट मोटिव तो रहेगा ही उसमें भी. If you paid $2 million for the bomb, you want to maximize the damage it will do. Why will you put it when people are okay? So the core message really is here is that our beliefs are our personality, and we end up living them. How we see reality is how it looks. We're not able to see reality for what it is. And you can read this. For example, if you already believe that existence is in chaos or in struggle, it's going to look like that. Alright, so in each of the areas, so this is an important thing. I don't read. So as we image, so we are. Or how one assumes or understands is how one behaves and lives. मेरी जैसी मान्यता है वैसे दुनिया दिखती है. मेरी जैसी मान्यता है वैसे मैं रहता हूँ. है ना? मान्यता बदलती है, मैं भी बदल जाता हूँ, दुनिया भी बदल जाती है. Okay. So it really shows that what we truly believe to be ourselves and our personality is actually a set of beliefs, and it's in a lot of flux and it keeps changing. You read a different magazine, your view of a husband changes, your view of a father changes, your view of a son changes. बदल जाता है. A traditional आदमी cosmopolitan magazine बन जाता पढ़ लेता, he becomes a modern husband. The traditional father will look at the modern husband and say, Baba, how can your wife sit next to you? So see these behavioral issues that we see, it is generation clash या gap है क्या कुछ नहीं, just a clash of beliefs. Finally, सही क्या है दोनों को नहीं पता. It's just a change, and we can't deal with change. All right. So, finally, I'm hoping this is finally for desires. Okay, good. We have 3 grades of desires. So that's actually a lot to digest. So I'll let you. I mean, you can not just let you. You can do whatever you want. I don't have to let you do it, but you can really just a figure of speech. You can reflect on it back home, but we have 3 grades of desires. One are called subtle desire or sukshmicha. These are the ones that are really further back in our list of priorities. Okay, and we don't have a specific or clear thought to action them. मुझे दुनिया के लिए कुछ अच्छा करना है. It's sitting somewhere at the back of my mind. I don't know when or how I'm going to do it. So there is no clear action plan to fulfill it. So what happens is this desire is not something that I take and examine and I work on. Okay? And how is the subtle desire being set? How do we know which one is subtle? On what is the basis? On the basis of these 6 Drishtis. I'll teach my daughter someday. I'll spend time with her someday. Why? Because right now I'm busy earning money. So the money is my intense desire. Tivriksha. These are the ones we want to achieve no matter what. ऐसा लगता है कि if I don't do this, I can't live. Okay, and what are the mediate desires or the inspired? These are called karan or prerit ichha. These are the ones which are in us but are driven by the environment. Why did you study engineering? Everybody was doing engineering. I don't know what I want to do. Huh? To get social respect and family. Yeah. So these are the 3 grades of desires. So when I circulate the PPT, I'll include this thing as well in the things that we can do with desires. Okay. नहीं सुनने में तो अच्छा लगता है ये लेकिन ऐसा होता नहीं है. If you just verbalize it, it will not become that way. You will have to slowly kind of develop the mood inside. See, actually, if you see, most of humanity lives with causal or inspired. They really don't know what they're doing and why they're doing it. They're just doing it because everybody else is doing it. Or my father. Like I became an engineer because my father was a chemical engineer. If I was running an Ayurvedic shop, I would have started an Ayurvedic shop. Okay. So most people in the world actually hardly have any intense desire. It is all prerit ichha, causal or subtle desire. People who have subtle desires don't end up doing anything. They just float through life. Don't end up doing much. Number one. Second thing is for us to be able to get or make a desire an intense desire. It depends on what it is. I mean, if it is a subject like this, so you can't say that I should have an intense desire to study and understand all this. वो तो अपेक्षा हो गई ना, वो आपकी कामना हो गई है. मुझे इंटेंस डिजायर चाहिए, वो तो आपकी कामना हो गई. ठीक है ना? इट इज होप, एक आशा है वो, that I should have an intense desire. डिजायर जो है वो चित्त में रहता, आशा मन में है ना. हम आशा करते हैं कि आपकी यात्रा मंगल में हो. इंडियन रेलवे रोज बोलता है रोज ट्रेन लेट होता है. किधर मंगल में होता है? इट नेवर मंगल में. इट्स ऑलवेज लेट. So asha is just a hope that the world will get all right. But for it to become a desire, you will have to analyze, process, pay attention, and really, um, reflect on why you need it. And then it may slowly get there. Yeah. Yeah. So one way to do it is to start practicing it. I mean, to allot time for it and start doing it, even if your mind is, that it is something, it's like, that you should exercise for 45 minutes every day, otherwise you will not be healthy, you will develop diabetes, है ना? लेकिन आपकी इच्छा नहीं हो रही है, तो आप क्या करते हो? अलार्म रखो and force yourself to do it. Your heart or mind is still, आपको मजा नहीं आ रहा है. करते 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 it becomes part of your routine. Something like that. Okay? Yeah. So basically practice. Now cat is trying to pee on the tent. Yeah, on the side उसका जो डंडा है उस पे करेंगे. He's marking its boundaries. So now you can't go inside. You'll pee on top of it. That's okay. Then the cat will be confused. Okay? रात को खाने पे बात करते हैं उसको. वैसी इच्छा वो ये अभी 3 ही है एक्चुअली. एक एक का 3 ग्रेड है. सेटल ग्रेड 1, ग्रेड 2, ग्रेड 3. कॉजल इंस्पायर्ड ग्रेड 1, ग्रेड 2, ग्रेड 3. तीव्र ग्रेड 1, ग्रेड 2, ग्रेड 3. देखो कितने लोग चाहते हैं कि मैं अंबानी जैसा बड़ा बनूं. कितने लोग बन पाते हैं? बहुत लोग मेहनत भी करते हैं, है ना. वो जो इतना बड़ा बनता है ना, उसके अलावा कुछ सोचता ही नहीं है. वो खाता भी नहीं है, पीता भी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं, वो ही करता है. ओके. सो नागराज जी को तो we leave out of the picture. Right now let's just talk about ordinary people like you and me who get angry once in a while, who go off to sleep, who get bored, who get tired. We can look at some practice for ourselves. And the practice really was this. I told you, every day you take out time for this practice. I put it there, remember? This one. Okay? Spend some literature study, do this, and do this. And keep doing this your entire life. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Just keep doing it. And whatever your capacity is will start getting developed in it. I mean, I can't say, I'm not able to run a kilometer. And I think of the guy that is a world record champion. नहीं होगा ना. What can I do? I start running 1.2 kilometers. किसी दिन मैं भी भागूंगा ऐसा. So I basically strike a balance between these 4. If you see really, the student life or this literature study will add to your intellectual development. This behavioral practice will add to your relationship, the behavioral part. The work life will add to your material life. Okay, the social life will give you some free feel good. Yes, Santosh Bhaiya and family have been running around since what 5-6 days now, 7-8 days. इनको क्या सुख मिलता है? So there is no profit. They've invested all the money upfront. They don't know whether they'll get it back. They have to pay for everybody, this cameraman, everything. They run the entire time. They will not even get recognition. But you do get a different kind of fulfillment. So we basically keep doing these four to the best of our ability, and then our ability starts increasing. I can't project and say that so and so managed to do it in 20 years, and this is not a GATE or IIT entrance exam. It's targeted game nahi hai. This is a thing of now that I know what to do, I spend every day trying to pursue it, and there will be periods of time when I forget doing it, so I go back to doing it. वो करने के लिए थोड़ी अनुकूलता लगती है, उसके लिए we wrote the नीचे वाला thing. That's why it's a bullet. It's not something to do. It is bahar. So you just put aside the money. If you already are financially free, put aside the money and you focus on 1, 2, 3, 4. जैसे ही इज डूइंग फार्मिंग, आपको कुछ पैसा मिलता है खेत से? बहुत कम. You'll be lucky if it is not minus, है ना? तो उससे घर नहीं चलेगा. So you basically ये bullet point को अलग करके you do it for the. I'm not saying all of us have to do farming. You can do whatever you want, but something like that. Not anything. I mean, here what we're talking of is this literature. You can choose anything you want, provided it is taking you where you think you should be going. If this is where you want to go, this comprehensive happiness and resolution, then you will need to take this literature. If you take some other literature, it will take you to that destination. If you take the Sankhya and Yoga, this literature, it will take you into Samadhi. I mean, you will not reach, maybe Samadhi, I don't know, but people don't reach Samadhi that easily. Okay. That literature will take you to that destination. If you take the Buddha literature and try to do that practice, it will take you, finally you will become whatever, you will become Anatma. Or you will realize you are Anatma, that I was never there. But if you've decided you are there, then you are better off going down this. You first decide whether you want to be there, you don't want to be there. If you don't want to be there, there are other options. And they are very hard. Hard का मतलब उसमें सिर्फ family and खाना पीना is not allowed. Tough नहीं किसी से होता ही नहीं वो. We have me itself is a has. Okay. So yeah, tea break हो गया. So let's close the shift and go for tea break. So when we come back, we can proceed with life. So I have an exercise here. You can do it at home. We will good. So we will do 6, 7, 8. We are on target. We have one more session today. Okay, हो जाएगा.